To other news now, and after a year and a half, Australia is opening up. International travel brought forward back in just a matter of weeks, with just 1 week of home quarantine required on return.
Stuck in an 18-month holding pattern with a scheduled departure mid-December, Australia's international border will now reopen earlier.
This will happen next month.
The Prime Minister making the announcement from home quarantine in Canberra, where he's been since his trip to the US. That arrangement will soon be common practice for everyone who's vaccinated. Provided the success of pilot programs in New South Wales and South Australia, once a state reaches 80% vaccine coverage, double-dosed Australians will be able to leave the country and return with 7 days of home quarantine. Because they're not subject to hotel capacity, the arrival caps will be scrapped.
Caps will remain for non-vaccinated, and there will be the managed quarantine process for those 14 days.
Australia will recognise TGA-approved vaccines Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, plus Sinovac and Covishield, widely used in India and China. Qantas is already selling fares for 14 November onwards, other airlines expected to follow.
We're also offering facilitated commercial flights for Australians overseas into states and territories that agree to commence those home quarantine trials.
At 65%, New South Wales is expected to open first, the ACT close behind. Queensland and WA have the lowest rates and most resistant premiers. It's possible residents of reopened states could get to Bali and Paris before Brisbane and Perth. These arrangements will apply to Australian citizens, permanent residents and family members. When we'll be able to welcome international tourists or return from a holiday without having to quarantine at all, well, there's still no plan for that. The next step will be quarantine-free travel bubbles, likely with New Zealand, Singapore and the South Pacific. Chloe Boris for 10 News 4.
अगर आपको मेरी वीडियो अच्छी लगे तो प्लीज़ लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए और सब्सक्राइब करना तो बिल्कुल मत भूलना। थैंक यू मेरे दोस्तों।